As a customer, if you've had trouble getting a decorator or a tradesman coming round to give you a quote for some work you need doing, maybe you said the wrong things. Watch this video to find out what not to say to a tradesman.
Right, here we go. Hello again, thanks for joining me. You may have seen it on a previous video. I had the idea of putting together a list of phrases that make us as decorators a bit jittery about customers on the phone to us. You know, the sort of little key phrases they use and you think, oh God, I've heard this before. It could be a bit of a nightmare. The customers might be really nice, but it's just you've had previous experience, you've heard these phrases and sayings before, and it's left you with a little bit of a bad feeling about the customer before you even met them or before you even looked at the job. So I asked a few questions on the decorators forum. The blokes on there and lads and ladies, sorry, are really good. They responded really well. So without further ado, let's get into these top 10 of sayings that customers use to us decorators that make us feel a little bit nervous. If you're a customer watching this, it may be worth jotting these down and maybe not using them when you talk to a decorator or a tradesman. It might help you. It might not, but it might. And number 10, my dad's an ex-painter and decorator. I mean, that doesn't really bother me too much. It'd be quite nice to have a chat with an old boy and pick up some tips. So yeah, so I suppose some decorators get a bit nervous about that, but it's not a particularly one that fills me with any dread. So that would definitely not be on my list. But number 9 definitely would be on my list. And number 9 is one that fills me with dread. Is the famous, "We need a quote from the insurance company." No, to be honest, I don't know the last time I did an insurance quote, but I'm not really keen on them, to be honest, because we all know what happens as decorators. We've all been there. We've gone out, given the customer a quote, and we never hear from them again, because we know 9 times out of 10, or 9.5 times out of 10, the insurance company will pay the customer. They'll use our quote to get the money, and we'll never see any sight of the job ever again. I know a few decorators locally to here are charging £50 for a quote, for an insurance quote, and if they get the work, they'll refund the £50 or take the £50 off their invoice, which I think is a great idea, because it's our time, it's our diesel, it's our wear and tear on our van to get out there to do the quote, you know. And yeah, like I say, 9 times out of 10 they normally come to nothing. So yeah, number 9 is definitely on my list, and so is number 8, and it is, "We will be supplying the painting materials." And I've fallen out of a few people over this one. I don't like using materials supplied by the customer. I mean, I don't find a bit of steak and take it to the restaurant and ask the chef to cook it. I'm relying on the chef to know the best material or the best food product to serve to make it a nice meal. Bit the same as decorating. You know, I know the materials, and any good decorator knows the materials they're using. They know how to get the best results from the materials they use. You don't want to start experiment with new materials that you've never used before, because it's going to cost you money. And you try to go to the customer and say, well, look, this paint you bought me took 4 coats to cover. They're not going to care, you know. And they think they're saving money, and they generally 9 times out of 10 they're not. And it just leads to bad feelings. So as soon as that one's brought up, I'm sort of feeling no. I either tell the customer I supply the materials, or if they don't, if they can't agree, then probably best not that we don't work together. Number 7 is I usually do the decorate myself, but yeah, not a bad one. Doesn't really bother me. I'd get in there, get the job done. If they agree the price, I'll do a good job and we'll move on. Number 6 is, how much is it going to cost? This is over the phone. It's like me sitting here now. How much would you charge to decorate this room? You just can't do it. It's impossible. What you can do is, talk about other places you have decorated, other rooms like it that you've decorated. a 6 metre by 4 metre with this and this would normally be this. But yeah, with actually going there physically, measuring up and having a proper look at the job, you can't give a cost, you can't give a price, and any sensible person will know that. Yeah, number 5 is we only have a small budget, which is fine. Then I can work to your budget. Or, you know, don't expect to get this much work done with this much budget. You know, it should match. You know, you've got this much budget, you get this much work. You know, it's yeah. So, you know, you can always work to people's budgets. It's just, you know, they won't get, you know, as much as they think they're going to get. So, yeah, number 5 is okay. Number 5 you can work with. Number 4, I've had a few times. It does make me laugh. If I help you, would it be cheaper? No. If you help me, it will generally be dearer. It's yeah. I've had people help me, and it's taken me 3 times as long to rub down their filling, or their caulking, or no. Please don't help me. It'll be far cheaper if you don't help me. Number 3, and I'm sure. Sorry, before I move on to number 3, I'm sure it's the same for any other decorator. We've got a ways of working. We know we work. I work with Ryan, and we've got to a stage now, as any 2-man team will be, or 2-person team I should say nowadays, will be, is you go in there, you know what you're doing, there's a set routine, you know, and you stick to it and you make money doing it. So no, you don't need, I know it's very kind of the customers to offer, but no, please don't. Anyway, number 3, we're into the top 3. I do it myself, but I haven't got the time, which, like I say, that's not a bad one for me. It's people are valuing their time more and more, you know. And I speak to more and more customers that don't want to spend 2, 3, 4 weekends decorating a bedroom or decorating a lounge. They just, you know, they're good at what they do, and they just want us to come in during the week, get the job done. So when they come to the weekend, they can relax and enjoy the new space that's been created. So yeah, I agree with number 3. Number 2, this one's not really bothering me, but it's quite a popular one. I've already had a few quotes. Well, yeah, it's a competitive market. We have to, you know, we've got competition, but as long as you know, you return people's calls, your paperwork's good, your quotes are good, you know, you cover pretty much everything you're going to do. You know, you don't return a quote with a text, or, you know, on a bit of scrappy old paper. You actually take a little bit of time and present yourself properly. Then if the customers have already had a few quotes, it shouldn't be a problem, because, you know, you want to come across professionally and portray a professional image. So yeah, if you're confident in your work and you're confident with your business, then number 2 shouldn't be a problem. But I do like number 1. Number 1 is, drum roll please, it's only a day's work. Yeah. Then in this instance, you've got to then educate the customer to, you know, to tell them what's in a day's work. I've had rooms where I've spent 2 days prepping, you know, and the customers thought it's only a day's work. Well, it might be, you know, it might be only a day's work if you get a handyman to do it, but to do it properly, some jobs, you know, as you know, it's all in the preparation. It's all in getting everything just right and looking nice, so that when you put the coats of paint on, it all falls together nicely. So yeah. And number 1 is, you know, one of the hardest ones. It's actually, like I said, it's about educating the customer, sitting down with them and saying, look, this needs doing. And as you go around the job, point out the different bits that need doing and how long they take. Yeah, I've walked away from a few jobs. Well, I walked away from one job where I didn't want to work for the person, really. It was a husband and wife, and the way the husband spoke to the wife in front of me was horrendous. I thought, if you're going to speak, if that's the way you're speaking to your wife in front of me, how on earth do you talk to her at home when no one's, you know, when no one's around? So that was one of the reasons I wasn't keen on the job. And the second reason was, we walked around the job, and he asked me how long I thought it'd take to complete. I said, well, it's a big job. It's about 6 weeks work, 6 or 7 weeks work. He said, no. He said, you should get that done in 4 weeks. I mean, I don't know why I bothered arguing with him, because he was a dentist, so surely he knew. Stick to taking out teeth, mate, would be my advice. No. So again, those 2 things, I thought, well, we're already 3 weeks apart on timescales, so I'm going to get to 4 weeks. I'm going to just about be just over halfway through, and he's going to be expecting it finished. So you're just putting additional pressure on yourself when you think, well, no, you know. And it was just a combination of things. And sometimes you just have to think, go with your gut, and just walk away and think, no, you know, we're not going to work well together. And yeah, it generally served me quite well. To be honest, it's as much about us getting on with the customer as a customer getting on with us. It's a two-way thing. You've got to build a relationship. So yes. Anyway, I hope these few little pointers have helped. As a decorator, maybe you've picked up a little bit, or you probably know all these anyway. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. But as a customer, if you're watching this, then maybe it might be a bit useful for you. I hope it's helped. If it has, click subscribe, and also press that bell icon, because then you'll know when we make some more videos, if that's something that interests you. Thanks a lot, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. So yeah, these phrases make us as decorators feel a bit jittery. So maybe if you're a customer watching this, it might be an idea to jot down these few sayings and phrases that are coming up, and try not to use them when you're phoning up to get a decorator or a tradesman to come out and look at your job. Just an idea there. Might work, might not. So before I start, this top 10 is made up from answers I've got from the Decorators Forum. I think there's about 40,000, I think, decorators on there. I could be wrong. Maybe I should have a look before I start banding around figures like that. I'll have a look. Let me have a look. Decorators Forum. It's a closed group. Ba ba ba. Should just tell you, surely. Oh, I don't know. Decorators Forum has got 40, near 40, 30,500. So, close-ish.